Walking down this lonely road, damn near almost lost my soul. But now that I'm in control, what they gon' do? Can no evil hold me down? Let no evil hold me down. When your will is on the ground, what you gon' do? I won't go for anything that isn't in direction of the moon. Don't never let anything come in between, cause surely you will lose. Inhale the atmosphere, brushing fear right off the shoulders. Looking around, couldn't find anyone, feel like the world getting colder. Be I'm motivated, we won't stop until we are over, yeah. And I won't look back, no, won't look back, no. Cause it's only a matter of time, now we in here, dog. Gumi said you need to get involved, ain't no looking back, ain't no other way around it, dog. You got everything you need on guard, just honing your faith and your power. Trust we could win, this is ours. No, this is not just a dream, keeping you up early every hour, but it just doesn't make sense. What good is this life if all we do is pretend? Trying to see the light, but darkness wants to creep in. Way up in my mind, wanna push me off the deep end. Wait, slow down, hone it now. If you believe, then you better breathe it. Walking down this lonely road, damn near almost lost my soul. But now that I'm in control, what they gon' do? Can no evil hold me down? Let no evil hold me down. When your will is on the ground, what you gon' do? I won't go for anything that isn't in direction of the moon. Don't never let anything come in between, cause surely you will lose. Introspect, take a sec, watch it step, where you step, when you step, falling free through the sky, feel the breeze, feel the eye, all your fears, let them die, energy never lies. Introspect, take a second, let your world unfold,
falling free through the sky.
I just wanna feel right, I'm so tired of being lost,
all your fears, let them die,
wings take flight,
energy never lies.
there's nothing we cannot handle, light up the dark like a candle, usually they misunderstand you, yeah. Give a damn if they can't relate, all we want is to motivate, take it on, never hesitate, acknowledge it, but then make it, we are the ones in control, we are the ones in control, just honing your faith and your power, trust we could win, this is ours, though this is not just a dream, take on the world and devour, walking down this lonely road, damn near almost lost my soul, but now that I'm in control, what they gon' do? Can no evil hold me down? Let no evil hold me down. When your will is on the ground, what you gon' do? I won't go for anything that isn't in direction of the moon. Don't never let anything come in between, cause surely you will lose. Yeah, we only getting started, but you know I got to bang it. Yeah, we're shooting for the stars, you know you got to aim it. Yeah, this goes out to the ones who doubt it. How you gonna see with your eyes so clouded? Look to the sky, feed your mind rerouted. Damn, it's been a long, long day. I done came a long, long way. I've been feeling all kind of restless, getting to it, what can I say? Soaking up game like a lesson. Spirit too strong, that's a blessing. Rather elevate into outer space. You could go insane, lose your way from the stressing. And I ain't really on that. Gotta take it higher, yeah, we're on that. We will never stop, we'll never fall back. This is that, shh, I need more of that. Gotta take it higher like you're on that. Gonna take it higher, yeah, we're on that. Whoa.
On the inside, you gotta let it go, let your mind ride.
Yeah, we only getting started, but you know I got to bang it. Yeah, we're shooting for the stars, you know you got to aim it. Yeah, this goes out
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello,
Morning,
hello.
what's going on?
Hello.
Either
Hey,
man,
Hello.
you looking pixelated. What's going on with your internet connection?
you can't hear me?
I can hear you, but you looking pixelated.
I'm looking pixelated. Hold on.
That's
Look at
okay.
it. He done sent old Cam over here to shut me down already. Hold on.
Already.
What about now? Is that better? Is that better?
Not really.
Worse.
Okay,
All
so
right. I guess it's you versus me.
yeah. But what's
I guess
going
it's
on,
you
Barney?
versus me.
Like,
This is great. This is a momentous occasion. eBlack has granted me the honor and the privilege of moderating this debate against. Oh, actually, I'm the moderator. So the man Williams representing Trump supporter over here, and eBlack is riding with Kamala Harris, and we're going to get into it. This, of course, is my first moderation attempt, so no time like the present to get into it, and we are just going to get into it, right? Or should we do introductions first?
well, let
Or,
me
I'll
just
tell you what. I'm Midlight Bro Logic. I have a YouTube channel, and I talk about politics and trending topics. If you want to hear about Trump, Fannie Willis, Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Hunter Biden, come on over. That's what's up. So thank you so much. Yes, go ahead, eBlack.
let me just say this is beware of the fake woke. This is kind of like my political segment that I do on my channel, other than the other fuckery or the stuff that I usually do. But it gives me a good chance to kind of talk politics. I love talking politics and things that affect our lives. But if you are watching this, hit the like button, subscribe. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Barnabas for accepting the opportunity to moderate, and either man for accepting the challenge also. So either man, you're not looking good right now. I'm telling you right now. You're go back to the layer, man. You're
So you
muted.
can hear me good now, right?
We can hear you good, but you're looking like a Super Nintendo right now.
Looks like an
What
Obama
about now?
phone, but the sound is good. I think that's the important thing.
So hold on. So you guys can't. I just see. I know E Black don't know this experience. You know, when you got a 3-level house, you got to switch Wi-Fi. So I had to switch to the Trump Wi-Fi at the bottom. I want to let me see. Let me check. I'm gonna refresh one more time.
Okay.
All right, let's switch to the Trump Wi-Fi. Obviously, a better Wi-Fi. I guess that's what we're indicating there.
And I guess we can spend this time and give our pleasantries to those who are here. So salute to.
That's perfect.
I remember this
Looking
guy.
good. Looking good.
Yeah. So when my laptop is on each level, I got to switch. So I had to switch to the Trump layer, the bottom layer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Salute to Logical Spark. Hassan is in the building. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is in the building. Difficult. Didn't you know this guy's name?
Difficult Dennison. Yeah, great guy.
Okay. All right. Rashu is in the building. Fun with Dirt is in the building. Calvin Coolidge is in the building. Great name. CCD is in the building. And to all those who may be watching or may be watching afterwards, hello to everybody. Make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, and subscribe to both of these channels. I will be dropping the link in my chat. Hopefully, Barnabas will drop the link in his chat. All right. Well, I will leave my usual hosting duties to be a participant of the panel. The floor is yours, Barnabas.
All right, this is great. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start off each of you, and we'll start with the man Williams. Shortly, just in probably under 5 minutes or so, could you tell me why Trump is the better candidate for America?
All right. So I'm gonna tell you why I believe. I want to cover a couple of things, and I'm not gonna take 5 minutes because I want to make sure that we get why Cam should be president. But the first thing I'm gonna say is that if you ever look at two different sides of this equation. The first side of the equation is you got one side is saying that this is the welfare program, right? Every policy that eBlack's about to cover for the next hour and a half is going to be talking about welfare, and it's going to be connected to a welfare program. What I'm going to do is I want you to really go back to 2016. I want you to really understand what 2016 looked like. I want you to think about the gas prices. The question is not if Trump can do it, can he do it again? That's the question that we got to ask. Can we have the lowest gas prices? Can we make sure that when our families, friends, and loved ones walk into the grocery store, we got to ask ourselves this question: would they be able to afford food again? You know, one thing that I do, and I really don't like talking about what I do, is I've been volunteering at a food bank. And the people that I see actually walk into these food banks, these are not the people that was walking into these food banks in 2016 to 2020. These are people that back 4 years ago could afford to take care of their family, their friends, and they saying right now things are just too high. So if anything that I want y'all guys to do when we talking about this tonight is I want you guys to really focus on what life can be. Remove the people. Let's put her to the side and let's put him to the side. And I want to ask you, what do you want the next 4 years to look like? And if you was to just go from policies and past records, because we got to go off her last 4 years and the 4 years before that Trump did, which one are going to put you in a good position for you to be able to move forward in your life? And I believe, based off my research, my knowledge, that Donald Trump have a plan to be able to get us back to a place where people can afford things again. So that's all I'm going to take, about 2.5 minutes. I didn't need 5 minutes, but I definitely wanted to open up with, let's go back to where you can afford things again.
There it is. Make America great again. Indeed. Sounds like Ethan Man Williams is voting with his wallet. eBlack, to you, sir. Tell me why Kamala is better for America.
Well, I think for one, when we talk, we'll discuss over a period of this hour or so time. We'll discuss exactly what Ethan Man Williams was talking about, how far we have come. I do remember, like he said, 2016, and I do remember the years in between. And it's all about trust. Who do you trust with America's future? I want to talk about many of Kamala Harris's future plans for the middle class. I want to talk about her strictness on criminal justice. We're going to talk about what the plan is for the new economic future of America post the disastrous leadership that Trump has had, and how we've recovered after that, and we are moving forward. We're no longer in 2016. This is 2024, 8 years. We are now moving forward. And how does that moving forward look? And do we want to go back to an erratic leader, or do we want to go back with stability, honor, and grace? One of the many things that we fail to neglect is that Trump is not really successful in his own personal life, his own political life. He's overachieved. And I think it's time that we actually take a look at what effectively makes America run. And what makes America run is great policies by great leadership. We are seeing the effects of Trump. So if you want to call this a vote against Trump, that's a valid statement. Or do you want to say, hey, we want to move forward? I think I'm very confident in the direction that we could be moving in when we elect our Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris. So I'm going to leave it at that. Once again, I want to say thank you to Barnabas and to Ethan Man Williams.
There it is. So stability, honor, and grace. That's what I took off of that. And speaking of stability, honor, and grace, Ethan Man Williams, there's been something that's really bothering the Dems. There's been something that's come up quite a bit in regards to your man, Donald Trump. And there's a magic number that comes up with it too. And I'm talking about Trump has 34 felonies that he is being charged with. And I ask to you, sir, does this show his lack of moral turpitude? Does this show that he is a criminal, or is this some type of lawfare? And how is this going to affect the election? Does this change your mind, or does this give you second thoughts about voting for Trump with 34 felonies against him, sir?
Absolutely not. So if you really research these felonies, because they gave Trump an ultimatum. They said, hey, if you don't run for president, we won't bring these charges against you. If you do run for president, we're going to bring these charges against you. And I think what we really need to do is we need to thank Trump for being brave and saying, you know what? I'm not going to let you guys bully me. I'm not going to let y'all guys be able to silence me and do what's best for America. What I'm actually going to do is, regardless of how y'all attack me, whatever y'all guys try to throw the book at me, what I am going to do is I'm going to put this country first. So this idea of them being able to bring these charges, and most people don't know the charges. Let's be honest. Most people don't know what the charges are. Now, most people haven't looked. When you talk to some of these Democrats and you ask them what was he charged 37 charges with, they have no idea. They just know that he's been charged with something. If you have been following what's going on in Georgia, you understand that the whole system is crazy. If we remove it from what Donald Trump is going through, look at what's going on with Young Thug right now. Been locked up for 2 years, running in circles. So this idea that I am a criminal just because they bring charges against me, and we understand that even the Democrat says that our system is flawed. Now we want to be able to hold these judges to say that they're actually moving with purpose and wisdom. Come on. I think this was just a way to close it up. This was a way to get something against him to be able to make people anti-Trump. Like eBlack said, they're anti-Trump. They're not pro-Cam. They're anti-Trump. They said, how can we make a way for them to be more anti-Trump? And these charges is the way that they tried to do it.
eBlack, what do you have to say about that? What do you think of this 34 charges?
Well, I think it's obvious that when it comes down to Donald Trump, we talk about America trust. Once again, do we trust Donald Trump? Because once again, he's lied on business transcript and it's on business documents, hush money, using campaign funds to hide his own indiscretions, the shady deals. Let's all understand this. Donald Trump has been known to do shady stuff to get the things that he wants accomplished, and we do not need that type of leadership. So when I think about Donald Trump and his hush money, because that's what it is, it's hush money. He was out there doing Diddy freak offs with porn stars. I think this is the type of leadership we do not need, and the 34 charges could be more. There could be more, but because of a lot of Donald Trump's legal games that he plays, we can't get to the bottom of what's going to happen with him. Now, let's also understand this. He may be guilty of these charges, but when he becomes president, do you think he would not pardon himself? Do you think that we as a country want to set an example that we want to see the president of the United States pardon himself of crimes that a jury has found guilty of? That's not the type of leadership we need. And I think that is, in my opinion, an automatic disqualifier for president of the United States.
Disqualify people that have felony convictions so they can't be president of the United States. That sounds kind of dangerous to me, sir. And as far as lumping him in with these alleged P. Diddy parties, also P. Diddy is still not been convicted yet. So this is America, innocent until proven guilty, but more on that later. But let's get to Kamala eBlack. I have something I need to ask you. Kamala has not had an unscripted interview by herself. There's less than 50 days to the election. It doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. When I look at Kamala, I can't differentiate any policy change between her and Joe Biden. Is Kamala 2.0 with a more attractive, how shall we say, face on the outside, a more attractive physical body habitus? Is there any difference between her and Biden, or is it just going to be more of the same Biden policies?
The good thing about it is that Kamala has spent the last 4 years as vice presidency. In fact, you asked me whether it's the same policy. No, it's the more improved policies. You want to talk about student loan reform. She's actively trying to increase that number so that more individuals can have student loans forgiven. We want to talk about the housing plan that she has put out. The initial plan was only 10,000. She's actually increased it to 25,000. We talk about Obamacare. We can talk about a lot of the plans. Her 4 years has taught her what it takes to be the president of the United States with the difficulties. And I can see right now, based on the policies that she has presented, that she's learning, and she's learned that the next 8 years, because I do expect a re-election, we are going to have not just Joe Biden's plan, but Kamala Harris's plan, because she's been given the ultimate school of knowledge in terms of politics concerns. So no, I don't believe that her plans are Joe Biden's. I think they're improved. I think she's learned more. I think understanding the role of Congress, because she was a senator, and I think she understands that. But I think also, if you want to just really call it for what it is, I think she understands what laws can get done and what laws can actually help her. But no, I do not believe that it's just Joe Biden 2.0, but I think it's Kamala 1.0.
Kamala 1.0. All right, Ethan Man Williams, will there be any difference between Biden and Kamala? Are we talking same, worse, or better, sir? What do you think if she wins the presidency?
I get just in my time, I want to first go back to that last thing, and I'm going to answer that question too. It's funny we talks about judges prosecuting people that do wrong, but a DA that's hiding evidence from people to get out of jail and lock people up innocently, and 20 years later they're getting out saying that they was falsely accused. We don't prosecute those DAs, right? We also don't prosecute the people who keep people locked up past their sentence so they can work free and do what we call free labor. We won't do that either, but I get it. We just want the DA to prosecute when we want them to prosecute. Okay, I got that. But let's ask the question. You know why she don't? I'm going to answer his full question. I know maybe eBlack forgot a little bit of it, right? The reason she don't have interviews that's unscripted is because she don't have a plan. That's the simple answer. And what we heard eBlack talked about, welfare plans. He said, let's break it down. Let's give this 25,000 or 45,000, whatever thousand to people first-time home buyer. That's a handout. One thing that you're going to learn about them is since they already given handouts, Biden done gave all the handouts. You know, it's a reason he said Obamacare. What they're doing is they're trying to say, how can I be able to take the plan that's already in place and be able to give more money out to the public, which I'm okay with that. But what I believe, and I strongly believe, is that she really don't have a plan. And when you don't have a plan, what you try to do, you quote unquote say, I'm going to make the current plan better. That's what we hear. So this idea that she's going to make it better, I don't know what she's been doing for the last 4 years, but there's no evidence that she's going to make it better. And if we go to her website, there's no evidence that she have a true plan. It's what the evidence shows us is that it sounds good. She's reading off of a teleprompter, and she got somebody writing these strips to say what she's going to do. But I don't think this woman truthfully and honestly got a plan, in my opinion.
Can I make a rebuttal?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a answer, rebuttal, and then a rebuttal. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, go ahead.
No, he can't. He can't rebuttal. He gotta wait. I waited, so he gotta wait. No, you rebuttal when it's your time.
It's my fault. It's my fault. This is my first time. I think I should have read more. Go ahead, eBlack. We'll do that for each one. We'll make it fair next time.
Okay. So in terms of the interviews, I didn't specifically talk about the interviews because the interviews really aren't important in terms of politics. What the average American wants to know is whether they're going to have a safe and secure country and whether they trust their leadership to do this. So in terms of having scripted interviews, that doesn't matter because let's be honest, when you talk about an individual who's literally wants to talk about cats and pets being eaten under false ideas, I would rather have a person who's reserved enough and who respects the American public that comes out and says, you know what, I'm going to prepare my thoughts. I'm going to follow what is important, and I'm going to make clear and concise points by following whether you say it's a script or not. But no matter what, you want an individual who's measured. Donald Trump is not measured, and he does not represent the needs of America, because I don't care how much money he's made in his life. You still have to give us, as a hardworking Americans, the respect to be prepared, because freestyling ain't going to work. And just rambling on, ranting ain't going to work. So I just want you to know, this is about where we're going to go in the future. What we've had in the past is not what we want to be again.
All right, there we go. What is Kamala's? They're trying to have this phrase. It's just not catching on, in my opinion. We won't go back, or how does that go?
We won't go back. We're going forward.
Okay, won't go back, going forward. All right, so Mr. E, the man Williams, we are going to get back on Trump here. You mentioned that you were satisfied.
He can rebuttal my rebuttal.
We can't rebuttal not like 50 times, right?
Okay, I apologize. Yeah. I just wanted to give an opportunity.
I mean, he can sneak in his answer on this one if he wants, like he did before. It's a little sneaky, but he can do it. So we'll allow that here. But let's get back on Trump. E, the man Williams, you said that you were satisfied 2016 to 2020 under Trump's direction financially. There are some things I remember that Trump promised that I don't see that came to light. I don't see a border wall. I don't see that Mexico paid for it. I don't see that he got rid of Obamacare and gave us something better. The list just goes on empty promises. There's also no peace in the Middle East. Of course, Jared Kushner did not achieve that famously. Did Trump do anything besides financially make America better in his 4 years as president? And if so, or if not, how could I expect something different than the previous results?
So first, eBlack said that interviews is not important. The questions of the American people is not important, right? That's just hilarious that we don't believe that the person who's running for president should be able to that. But I digress, because I want to be respectful of our host and answer his question, right? So first, when we start looking at the tariffs he put in place, I don't know if anybody actually been to Mexico, but they did start a wall. Did they finish it in 4 years? No, they did not. We know for a fact that they had bought all the stuff to build the wall. If we're talking about the wall and putting things in place. And the first thing that Biden did when he got into office, he sold all that stuff on pennies on the dollar to get rid of it so they would not do the wall, right? And it's funny when you start talking about what did he do. One thing we do know that he do is he start holding other countries accountable. And what I mean by that, he was willing to go to NATO and say, hey, check this out. America have been fronting the bill for so long, and we believe that we protect you guys and we give y'all guys a level of safety. We want countries like Germany, we want other countries to be able to also financially support NATO. So we saw those things happen, right? Another thing he did is he wanted to bring jobs back into America. He said, hey, if we find a way that we can incentivize companies to stay in here, this is something that we have seen from 2016 to 2020. So I'm going to be the first to say, I understand when you have a plan, you can't accomplish all of them. Right now, we see Agenda 47. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for y'all guys. Donald Trump is not going to be able to do 47 things in the next 4 years. But I do believe that he will be able to accomplish some. One thing that we do know is that everything that Donald Trump did from 2016 to 2020, Biden and Cam hold goals to be able to remove those things. So we have to be able to be realistic and actually say we have seen him do some things. And I think the tariffs and bringing oil and different things back to America, we definitely seen those efforts.
All right, thank you so much. eBlack, you want to respond to any of that?
Yeah.
The original question was, Trump made a lot of promises. and I just didn't see them come to fruition. And how can I believe him that his now promises will come to fruition if we give him another chance?
Yeah, I mean, the one of the major things that Trump talks about is the border wall. Of course, he has excuses where billions of dollars have been spent on things, and we only get less than 100 miles of it. And in fact, it doesn't really slow down the immigration. It really just makes a pretty wall that contractors have to then maintain. And it's just a very bad policy of immigration. We talked about bringing jobs overseas. We all remember Carrier, the air conditioning company that Trump famously, before he even got into office, brokered a deal, right? Well, guess what? Within 4 or 5 years, Carrier ended up selling that plant, and that plant ended up getting sold again, ended up getting 5 different changes of ownership, and Carrier still moved to Mexico. See, there's idealistic plans of rich individuals that see us as pawns. They see us as pawns, but don't understand that the American people, the middle class, is what we need. When he had an opportunity, he had the supermajority, he had the Congress, and he had the Senate. He even had close to the Supreme Court. What did he do? He didn't give us middle class individuals a tax break. He gave his friends a tax break. When we talk about Trump making promises, his plan of the economic zones, those are for investors, not homeowners. So once again, Kamala has a plan for home ownership. Trump has a plan for investors. Do we still want to rent, or do we want to be owners of the American dream? So I believe Kamala, and once again, I don't want to always focus on the negativity of Trump, but I want to always bring up my candidate. My candidate is actually talking about things that affect our lives, not rich people's lives, and hoping it trickle down like the Reagan taxes. But we are trying to make America go forward, and I think that's what's going to happen. So once again, Trump can give you a lot of plans that, but let's be honest, they're either not going to affect you personally because he's really only cutting his friends and who are living on islands and golf courses deals, or they're just not realistic and they're just not good plans.
Well, it's funny.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, either man.
I'm gonna respond to that. It's funny that he said Trump doesn't have the interests of the working class when Trump was willing to come out and say, "Hey, over these next 4 years, my goal is to have a no overtime tax." That means that people, after they work 40 hours, have the ability to bring home their full income after that. Then he said, "You know what I want to do? I want to be able to not tax I want to tax people who get tips. I want them to be able to keep their whole tips." Then he said, another thing is these senior citizens don't work their whole life. Why do we got to actually tax their social security check? So it's funny that Trump don't think about the middle class. He only think about the rich people when you hear eBlack talk. But in reality, one thing that Democrats are not talking about, Cam said something really simple. She said that she wanted to tax unrealized gains taxes. And I don't have enough time to go through that right now, but these same houses that she give you $25,000, the unrealized gain of your house, what it could be worth in that year, that $25,000 will go in the toilet really fast. So I'm glad she got you the house, but she took all your profits in the house. So we got to stop this idea that she's doing something, because just giving somebody $25,000 to get a house, but trying to tax them on the back end, it really doesn't help the middle class like they quote unquote say it does.
All right. So moving on to the next question, eBlack, this one's coming for you. And you knew we were going to talk about it. We mentioned it earlier. Of course, we need to talk about the border problem. Have we ever seen a bigger border crisis in our lifetime? Newsflash, the answer is no. Beautiful Rachel Morin of my state, deleted by an illegal immigrant. Laken Riley, who Biden couldn't even pronounce her name, again, deleted by an illegal immigrant. I've seen video of Border Patrol just letting them in and giving them bottles of water as they illegally cross. This is a disaster. Kamala is currently in power now. She is, quote unquote, the border czar, or czarina, if you want to feminize it. I'm not really sure what that job entails or what type of power she yields with that title, but I have never seen the border in more of a disaster than it is today. Why does she not implement change now? Why does she not put her finger in the dike and stop this dam from bursting full of illegal immigrants? Sir, what will change if Kamala becomes president in regards to the border?
Well, let's be honest. I'm not going to act like I'm a border aficionado. I don't know everything about what's going on at the border. I do know a couple of stats. The last thing that I actually heard was that the immigration problem has gone lower than it was in Trump's presidency. So I think what we found is that we are fixing the problem. In regards to immigration, because sometimes when we talk about immigration, we talk about illegal crossings. We don't talk about legalized crossings. We don't. Sometimes, of course, there's what's that where people have to cross because of threats of religious base and whatnot. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, those individuals come through. We've totally forgot about DACA, where somebody may have came in across and they've brought their kid and the kid's 1 year old. Those individuals deserve a great immigration policy, even strengthening our green card policy. When we talk about immigration, this is not just about illegal immigration. We're talking about legal border crossing, because let's be honest, the companies that Trump wants to be successful depend upon immigration. The meat farmers, the furniture makers, these are legal immigrants who have legally come, who want to come across and work for a living. I believe if you want to talk about a comprehensive plan, who do you trust? Do you trust Trump to have a plan for legal immigration to where individuals who do want to come across the border? Because let's be honest, everybody wants the American dream. Nobody's really going to stop that drive of the world wanting to come and have a piece of that. We're talking literally about how do we administer a great policy? Who's going to administer that great policy? Do we believe Trump, who wants to set up walls, or do we believe Kamala, who wants to make comprehensive changes within that? Because let's be honest, Kamala lives in California, is from California. She knows firsthand about the border. In fact, she is more in tune with the border than a lot of people give. So let's be honest. I think Kamala is the one that I would trust with the border. I think she's done a great job, according to the stats. I think when you talk about creating comprehensive plans, I think Kamala does that. I mean, and even when you talk about the immigration czar title, she's never really owned that. So
She's never really owned that. If I could, shout out to Zyrax. Do you have any kind of money gift music, eBlack?
Do I have any money? Oh yeah, I do.
Can you play that? Do you mind playing something? We're on eBlack's channel there. Zyrax, thank you so much. And Zyrax is a big how shall we say? She's a lefty. So Zyrax, if you're not subbed to eBlack, you're missing out.
No, I know Zyrax. Zyrax has been around for a while. Okay. So here we go.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Either man Williams, this is just a slam dunk for you. Go ahead. You heard what he said. He said Kamala is great for the border, bro. I'm trying to be impartial, but it's hard. It's hard. Go ahead.
Wow. So I actually believe eBlack. When eBlack said that he wasn't a specialist in the border and he don't know what's going on at the border, I believe he just like his vice president. Neither one of them know what's going on at the border. You ask the questions like, what have you been to the border? Yes, I've been to the border. And they say, have you been to the border? She said, no, but we going to the border. I don't think she have no clue what's going on in those borders. I believe that she's running for accountability. And the reason we see eBlack do what we call a professional goalpost mover, he went from talking about illegal aliens to the people who do the right thing and come here legally. The reason he did that for a simple fact is that he know that she have did something that was wrong. And the one thing that I can say, when Donald Trump does something wrong, everybody criticizes me because I say I think he's wrong when he do these things. What I learned about people like eBlack, he can't say that she is the reason that we have this border problem. I know he tried to talk about the cats and the dogs earlier, but I know for a fact that Americans don't do stuff like that. Donald Trump wouldn't even have to fix his mouth to say that. She's 100% responsible for what's going on. And the crazy is, imagine me marrying my wife. And then my wife said, I never accept the wife as title, so I don't have to be a wife. That sounds goddamn crazy. No, it's your responsibility. And even Biden, out of his own mouth, said that she was responsible for the border. So what she got to do is, she wanted to be a DA. She wanted to prosecute everybody. Now it's time for her to prosecute these illegal immigrants that's doing the wrong thing. But she said illegal immigrants cannot be felons. They cannot be criminals. And she sounded like a fool. So one thing I hope in his response, he can say, you're right. She dropped the ball on the border, because we know for a fact that she did. And I didn't want to kill you too much, so I kept it friendly.
That was nice of you. Go ahead, eBlack. Quick rebuttal.
Very quickly, the only thing that Trump really likes about the immigration policy is how he can find a new wife.
There it is. Absolutely. Donald Trump is a passport bro. It's confirmed. You just can't deny it. Of course, famously, Melania, supermodel from some Eastern European country, I don't know, Estonia, I can't even remember. And let's not forget Ivana. She was, I believe, from Hungary or something of that nature. All right, so I did not write down a biased question. It does seem to be that Ether Man Williams is concentrating on the economy in regards to Trump, but I assure you I did write this down, and this is just kind of a personal, or not a personal, but kind of a general question, is when I listen to these candidates talk, when I listen to the rallies, I hear a lot of, they pick this, they pick that. People will try to tell me, hey, the economy's doing great. Hey, no, it's never been worse. I see prices rising up. I see home prices rising up. My paycheck's not rising up. I'm not really sure what to believe, but it doesn't seem to be doing well. So I just wanted to open the floor up just quickly again for both of you to talk about how your candidate would be better for the economy. So go ahead, Ether Man. I think. Actually, no. It's go ahead, eBlack. It's your turn.
But Ether Man talked about the tariffs. If you put a tax on more of our imported goods, what do you think is going to happen when we're a consumer-based country? Most of us wear stuff that is, or eat stuff, or have there. If you look about the processing line, steel and a lot of the coal and a lot of the secondary manufacturing comes from out of this country. Putting tariffs on it actually increases it. Let's be honest about this. Lumber, I'd have a statement for you. Lumber doesn't necessarily come from America. It comes from out of the country. Steel doesn't always come from the steel mills in Virginia. They come from out of the country. When you put tariffs on things, and when you're a consumer-based first world country that has lived in a global economy, of course, these prices are going to rise. And that is a direct policy that comes from Trump. We all knew what was going to happen. But who cares? Because when a millionaire has to go and pay an extra $50 for a TV, they don't actually care. But when the middle American individual has to pay $50, that's where the true effects of the policy comes in. let's be honest about this. We said that wages haven't gone up. But let's be honest about this. America received one of the largest tax breaks for corporations. How has that policy trickled down to us? It hasn't. That's the thing. Nobody's really pointing the finger at the true policies that have been worked. This is supposed to increase wages. That didn't work. Trump created this because he wanted to have more rich people, to have more income. And hopefully, we're praying for these rich people to pay us a little bit more money so we can buy our eggs and we can buy our food and we can buy maybe a TV every once in a while so we can enjoy ourselves. This is why I say the difference between policy matters and why we need to be moving forward. We've tried this policy. Reagan has tried this policy. It doesn't work. Only things that work is when usually Democrats come into office and they implement policies that is geared towards the middle class and the lower class individuals. And we will, as American citizens, work our way up and achieve the American dream.
All right, thank you very much, eBlack. Your mic is intermittently going up and down the range there. Either Man Williams, I am anxiously anticipating your answer, but if you could please, is Donald Trump, are we in a trickle-down economy now, a la Ronald Reagan?
No, listen, he sounds crazy. First of all, he gonna say the reason that our milk and eggs is double the price is because aluminum. The reason, let's really listen to what he just said. He said he put a tariff on lumber. That's why we pay twice the price for milk. If you really understand how crazy that sounds, that is crazy, right? But no, we understand. This one thing that we understand is right before COVID, we saw all of these things happen under Donald Trump. The tariffs was in place, and we saw gas go down. We saw milk go down. The price of meat go down. We saw eggs be affordable. So the funny part that people say is these tariffs was in place, and we also seen that it was affordable. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them sit here and say, since he put a tariff, because you know what tariffs do. Let me explain this to people who don't know. Tariffs actually help the unskilled worker in America. Because I gotta get it from America, that means that more people are going to be working. This is why we had the lowest unemployment before COVID. So the whole point that I want you to understand is Donald Trump have proven that he did it. They keep pointing the finger. Cam is pointing the finger. It's not my fault. The last 4 years is not my fault. But you know one thing that I love about Donald Trump? He didn't blame Obama. He's not saying that the reason that the gas is low because of Obama. The reason, come on, let's just really think this thing through. I think we know who's the best person to lower these prices.
eBlack, quick rebuttal if you want.
Quick rebuttal. Once again, if you're going to give Trump a lot of the success for the economy, then you have to give Obama a lot of the success because even with the Trump plan, those things didn't really trickle down through the pipeline for probably well into 18 months of his presidency. So that it's still up in the air as to what policy he has actually did to achieve that. If you really watch a chart of the American economy, we were headed to where we were headed. But once again, I'm not one of those individuals that will down Donald Trump just to make my candidate look good. I talk about the candidacy I talk to the goodness of my candidate. I believe Kamala has a great team around her. The Democrats know how to run this country way better in terms of economy, and it's been proven over the last 30 years.
Hold up. So you said, and I'm going to ask you a question. I want to yield my time to you with a question. What have been proven by the Democratic Party over the last 30 years?
We can talk about Clinton. Do you really want to get into that? I mean,
Oh, okay. I just want
okay,
to make sure that you
okay,
want
we
her to
can
get
talk
credit
about
for what Clinton did.
okay,
Okay.
we can talk about Clinton, and then we can talk about Obama's economy also, which was a vibrant economy, which after Trump kind of broke the record for unemployment, Obama actually had a record for unemployment too. Uh, let's be honest, like once again, it's not really one. I wouldn't say the presidency is not really a major factor, but if you were to tell me about policies that could truly help the average individual, I would say Democrats have fared far better. Uh, the last two Republican presidents have had major natural disasters and terroristic disasters. Even when you talk about Reagan, what happened with him? Nixon, what happened with their economy?
Yeah, so
Overall, hold on. Overall, Republicans have not proven that they know how to govern on a national level.
yeah, I agree that Obama proved something. He proved how to deport. They say he deported more illegal immigrants than anybody else. So if Cam take any advice for Obama, she need to be like, how can I actually deport him the way that they did? But I yield it so we can go to the next one.
All right, we're going to get on to the next one. There is a problem in America. It is gun violence. In our lifetime, of course, I believe the Columbine massacre was really seared into our memory. Of course, it was on videotape before that. I believe in your state, the clock tower shootings, there's a problem with school shootings and mass shootings. It often seems to be perpetrated with quote unquote assault rifles. So I wanted to mention that. And also I wanted to mention the fact that it seems like while we bring attention to these mass shootings, typically perpetrated by assault rifles, it seems as if we just kind of gloss over inner city shootings made with pistols. And I know I said a lot of things there, but really what I want both of you to do is just tell me why your candidate is better in regards to what are we going to do about this gun violence problem in America.
Well,
excuse me, but let me just say one more thing. Kamala is kind of dancing around, sometimes saying she's going to take away the assault rifle and sometimes not. So go ahead, either man.
Well, I think what we have is you look wishy-washy, right? So eBlack don't know what she gonna do, depending on what video he watch, right? So the question that you gotta ask is, I'm just gonna go based off her last debate, because that's the most recent thought that she had. She
You mean her
said,
only debate?
Her only debate, yes. So what she say is that she's not taking away nobody guns, and Trump need to stop lying because her goal is not to take away people guns. The one thing that I have learned about guns, because I am a gun owner, a licensed gun owner, and I think you're crazy to tell me that I can serve my military for 8 years and I don't have the right to carry a gun in the country is crazy to me.
Well, I have to interject, and I do apologize, sir. I watched the Oprah interview, I believe last night or the night before. She made a reference to taking away the assault rifle. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah.
But
so
previously she said no, but like last night, her last answer was it wasn't at a debate. Of course, it was at a Oprah interview or something.
So,
okay.
But one thing that we got to be honest, me serving the military, I learned it's a reason that we don't have a tax on American soldiers. It's a reason that you just can't come over here and do what you want to do, right? So,
is it the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean?
Huh? Say it again.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I'll be quiet. I'm sorry. I think we're protected. Maybe let me not interject too much. I'm going to leave that to eBlack. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So I think that we see that down to our borders in Mexico, we have the cartel, right? If we take away the guns in Texas, do you believe that the cartel will not come up to Texas if there's no guns in present? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. But what I will say is this right here. When it comes down to the gun, we truthfully and honestly don't know what her policies are. She done went back and forth. In the last 30 days, You said Oprah versus debate. She's saying two totally different things. One thing that I do understand about guns and the gun laws is criminals don't follow laws. So if you disarm the American public, the person who me doing the right thing, I got licensed, I have been trained, I'm doing all these different things. If you take mines and you leave the guns with the criminals, who did you really disarm? So I am not a fan of disarming the people that are following the law because we understand that criminals don't follow laws. So they're still going to be able to get access to these things. And you know, the victim of this will be the American public.
So I just want to ask you, what is Trump's plan? The plan is no plan, right? Just thoughts and prayers, I think.
Well, I think the plan is that I know we blow it up to make it as big of a problem. Have we had incidents in this country? When we start talking about 340 million, I might be wrong, 340 million Americans, you're going to have some crazies. And what we do is we need to prosecute those crazy people to the full extent of the law. But for you to say that if I have 1% or at the most 10% bad apples, and I think I'm being extreme by saying that because we haven't had 10% of American population shooting up places, right? Why do I penalize the other 95% or the 90%? That doesn't make sense to me, but maybe it makes sense to eBlack.
Well, Man Williams, you heard it from, eBlack, you heard it from Man Williams. It sounds like, let me translate that for you. The plan is no plan, thoughts and prayers, and only 10% are crazy shooting up places. What do you think about all that? What is Kamala going to do? You can either answer him or just tell me what her plan is about taking away the assault rifle. Go ahead.
See, this is a usual tactic by those who want to, from their side, they always want to say they're taking away the guns. Truth be told, Kamala Harris is a gun owner. Truth be told, Kamala Harris said that if somebody was to invade her house, she would shoot them dead. This is what she said. So this is not about taking guns away. This is about comprehensive gun reform, putting guns that are not bump stocked and having individuals who are trained and having comprehensive plans. The fact of the matter is we've already seen what Trump's leniency on guns has done to us. Bump stocks are legal now. Like, have you imagined that we lived in America that a kid can buy a $25 attachment and make an assault, make a gun, a cheap gun that costs $250, a machine gun? See, this is when we talk about gun reform. We're not just talking about whether everybody gets to own ARs and everything. It's the whole thing. We're not even going to talk about. We rarely talk about the insane, domestic violence. These are implementations of plans that I would like to see. But just like Donald Trump, he's thinking of a plan. He's thinking that hopefully those bullets won't kill those kids. He's thinking that hopefully those bullets won't shoot that mother. He's hoping that maybe we would all just go away. And after the next 4 years, and he's in his mansion and he's surrounded by secret services, it doesn't matter anymore. But the truth of the matter is that policies affect. And already we've seen, because of his elected Supreme Court justice, that they've ruled that bump stocks are legal. So where do we want to move forward on? Do we want to put people in there who are not going to just vote and just be a rubber stamp on radical Second Amendment plans, or do we want to have comprehensive plans where we can say, you know what, machine guns, no matter how old you are, no matter how the gun is styled, is not a form of defense, and we do not want to see those type of weapons there. Once again, she's a gun owner. I'm a gun owner. We all understand basic self-defense. But we do not want to see these style of weapons on the streets by individuals who are mentally not stable, and who have not who it's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. And I think I'm surprised Eda Man took this position because let's be honest, we do not want to see a man hit a woman, beat a woman, or a woman beat a man, go out into a store, your local Walmart, buy a gun, and shoot them. I believe we can have comprehensive conversations about protection without stripping away the protections of each other.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on. Let me jump in, Ethan Man Williams. Okay, a lot was said there. Of course, a bump stock famously was used in Las Vegas during the country music festival. That's the only known time that I am aware of where a bump stock was used. Are those the pressing issues of the day? Maybe. I thought switches on Glocks were more important personally. You said that Kamala is a gun owner. That reminds me of the famous picture of Obama shooting a shotgun when, I don't know if you remember that. He had an over-under shotgun shooting skeet. And it's like, look at me. I shoot guns too. I guess he didn't like the truth. Well, we're just going to gang up on him. Do you remember the picture of Obama after there was some shooting? And he's like, look at me. I have a shotgun. For Kamala to sit up here last night or whatever night it was and joke about if someone comes in, she's up here talking tough like she's going to delete somebody. She has Secret Service. Stop it, Kamala. Stop acting tough. Stop acting like a dude. And as far as you go, eBlack, I don't really know what your question is. What is her plan? Are they taking away the assault rifle or not? She said she is. You danced all around it, and you didn't really say what it is. Much like Kamala, we can't nail her to the ground or to the wall and like, what is the plan? What is the plan, Kamala? So can you answer it again? Does she have a plan? What is it? I heard her say, is she going to take away the guns? Is she? Or what are you saying there, eBlack?
Well, that's what bipartisan is about. I think she's educated enough in law to understand what is applicable. I hope that as vice president, she's gone across this country and seen what is various parts of this country safety is needed. But once again, her plan has always, and her stance has always been good regulation of guns.
What is good regulation of guns? What does that mean? What does it mean, sir?
Like Sorry. I said, once again, this is what bipartisan is. We can come to the table and say, you know what? Maybe 21-year-olds should be able to buy it, or maybe those who have been in a mental hospital should be able to buy, shouldn't be able to buy AR style guns. Maybe it comes with a gun-free zone, increasing the punishment on that. But once again, Kamala is the one out of Donald Trump. And if you compare Donald Trump to Kamala, Kamala is the only one who can truly address the unique rights and the privileges of the Second Amendment. Donald Trump is not mentally stable, nor does he have the fortitude to stand up against his colleagues to enforce good policy on the Second Amendment.
There you go. Hold on. There you go, Ethan, man. He said it right there. When you're 18 or even 17, you can go to Iraq and get trained on a gun. But when you come back to the country with the bullet hole in your body, sorry, you're not 21. I don't care about the Second Amendment. You can't buy a gun even though you're a professional shooter. Go ahead, Ethan, man. Give eBlack the smoke that you want to.
Well, this is crazy because he's been talking for a long time. And the good thing about me, I have a great memory. First thing he going to say is Donald Trump is going to go to his mansion. What the hell is Kamala going to go? Cam got a mansion too. What do you think? After all this is over, do you think that she going back to the trailer park? She worth $5 million+. She's not the middle class. Let's go ahead and start there. She ain't going back to the trailer park or the hood. She going back to her nice house away from all those things. I just want to say I couldn't let you get away with that. But then when we start talking about these guns, right? And then you heard him like, I don't know what he was doing. I was like, where is he going with this? Talking about a man and a woman getting in a fight at Walmart, and then she just go to Walmart and she buy a gun and kill the man. First of all, we already have regulations on guns. You can't just walk in the store and get a gun. You got to have a background. See, this is why I question, do eBlack even got a gun? I know he want to be on the cam, I got a gun side, But I can't even just walk into Walmart and buy a gun without doing a background check. So that's what this idea that a kid, because remember he said a kid, that we got to use the word a kid. A kid can walk into a gun store. A 16-year-old, listen to what he said. A kid can walk into a gun store and just buy a gun. And we done seen every shooting had nothing to do with a kid walking into a store getting a gun. They had access to a parent gun because their parent was not monitoring their weapon correctly. So that's the point we got to stop. We got to stop just making these things up, talk about somebody going to be fighting at Walmart. That's what you call broad brushing. I don't know if y'all ever know what a broad brush look like. These two angry people walk into Walmart, buy a gun, and kill somebody. Can
Barnabas, I think he's windmilling right now at the topic.
All right. We're going to cut you off. It's the perfect time to cut you off because we got a super chat. Kind of an odd question, but coming from Lawrence. Lawrence, make sure you're subbed up to eBlack and Edelman Williams. Question for eBlack. Let's say you are a beautiful fox underneath autumn trees. What would you be thinking?
I would think the breeze is nice, and I'm going to go get some chickens.
There it is. Summer breeze makes me feel fine. You want to answer that question too, Edelman? Bonus answer. If you were a fox, a beautiful fox underneath autumn trees, what would you be thinking? Go ahead, sir. Got to keep you on your toes.
I was thinking that it's time for humans to eat.
There it is. Time for humans to eat. Okay, perfect. All right, moving on. So we're talking about all of the hard-hitting things. Let's get into it. Edelman, I think it's your turn here. And I have separate questions for each of you, actually, but they're both kind of the same. We're talking about morality. Kamala's up here talking about how she's, I don't know, morally superior, they kind of say, or decency. That was kind of Biden's words. And I have smoke for her, don't worry. But when I look at Trump, I look at a man, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. As I said before, I am going to vote for him. I'm trying not to be biased, but I want to have a president who's not up here having locker room talking about grabbing women by their reproductive organs, right? Parts. I don't want to have a president who has multiple failed businesses. I'm talking about Trump University, Trump Steaks or something. He always gets sued all the time. He doesn't pay his vendors.
Trump Airlines.
Trump Airlines, XFL. He's just the laundry list of failed businesses and nasty doings, right? In addition to all these problems that he's having with women, in addition to the fact that he's married 3 times, don't like that either, and the fact that he went up here and said Haitians were eating cats and dogs. Haven't found any proof on that. Ducks and geese maybe head for the hills, but cats and dogs, there's no proof. You know, I see a guy like this, it just kind of seems unpresidential and embarrassing, right? Do I really want a president up here tweeting and coming up with names, crooked Hillary? It just seems very unpresidential. Even you're kind of disparaging Kamala by calling her Cam. I don't know. Is that toxic masculinity from Trump? Is this what we have to expect with another Trump presidency? What do you have to say about the moral turpitude of Trump being our president? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first, it's interesting. eBlack said that he was incompetent, and he voted for an incompetent man that's the president currently, right? But Donald Trump's incompetent, right? So the one thing that I like about Donald Trump is he shows us who he is. That's the one thing it is. He's not hiding behind strips. He's not hiding that. And the one thing that I have learned, because I'm an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs think different. And the one thing about being an entrepreneur, you take more chances, so you have a bigger chances of failing. If you are a government employee, you really can't fail. So if I try to measure a government employee and say that they never failed versus an entrepreneur who have times and times, and even eBlack out of his own mouth said that a billionaire was unsuccessful. I think that it is crazy that we can call billionaires unsuccessful. I think he have had moments that I can honestly say that I'm not proud of. I think he have had moments that I think that if I was in his corner, I would say maybe he shouldn't have said that. But I also understand that he's human, and I expect him to be human. I think if we really truthfully see 2015 where he started at in the public eyes versus this last debate, we have seen a lot of growth in Trump, and a lot of people won't acknowledge that. So yes, I think he have did some things that I'm not proud of. Everybody know I believe that you should be married to a woman and stay married to that woman for the rest of your life. I don't believe in divorce. So I am willing to openly say I see the mistakes that he have made, but I still think that he's a better candidate than Cam.
There it is. Either Man Williams with an honest answer. Now, eBlack, I don't want you to respond to him. I have your own question, which is basically the same question. Kamala gets on Oprah. She gets up there. She's got all of her Hollywood friends. Oh, Kamala's just so decent. She's morally superior. She's just a better person. She's not mean. She's not nasty. That's what they say. But then when I do just a little quick digging, doesn't really, it's just take one piece of paper off the top, and what do we find? Well, she was lying to us about Biden the whole time, saying that this guy's ready to go. Don't look here. He's totally all good upstairs. There's no nuts or bolts or screws missing. Let's not forget that she kept a man on death row and wouldn't provide evidence for this guy. His name is Kevin Cooper. We could look that up some other time, maybe. And he's no angel. Let's just be honest. But there's something there. Also, she kept prisoners locked up because she needed firefighters past their sentence. It sounds crazy. There's a word for that. It's called slavery. Is she a slave master? It sounds like it. Famously, she joked about smoking weed on the Breakfast Club while listening to Tupac before he came out. All the while, her history is locking up people for smoking weed. It seems hypocritical. She's proud that Dick Cheney endorsed her. Dick Cheney, I could just go on and on and on about this guy, but let's not. And most importantly, or the thing that bothers me the most, now I don't have a daughter, right? But if I did, and if Kamala becomes president, and if she looked up in my eyes and said, Daddy, how did Kamala become president? I want to be just like her. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd have to send her somewhere else, because let me just drop a name here. Willie Brown. We know who Willie Brown is. Willie Brown, a married man, mayor of San Francisco, was 60. Kamala Harris was 29 and his jump off. And talk about nepotistic, that word you can use for non-blood related people. I looked it up. Talk about nepotism. She got 2 promotions under Willie Brown. And let's face it, she was his concubine. Gross, disgusting. In my eyes, it seems to be the worst thing that ever happened to women in America. Worst thing that ever happened to feminism. And I don't even like feminism. But how can they exalt this woman as a feminist? Think of all the more qualified women who may have been uglier, fatter, or of higher moral value, who refused the sexual advances of Willie Brown, that got passed over, and now she's going to be the president. So, Mr. eBlack, I ask to you, is Kamala Harris morally superior to Trump? Go ahead.
Of course, I think I would obviously say yes. Even if you look into the whole Willie Brown thing, as a native of San Francisco, nobody asked the question, did Willie Brown date any other body? What was their relationship status during this particular time? Was Willie Brown rolling downtown in his drop top with many of women? What was his hit? Like, we know who Willie Brown is. America.
I'm not mad at Willie Brown.
Okay, but I'm just saying, America. I am, because you guys promotions is what really gets me. Okay, and I'm getting to that.
Yes, sir. I'll be quiet.
America, I would like to introduce you to Willie Brown. We've known about Willie Brown. He is much flamboyant. He is much the shrewd politician that he was, and he played the game, and he did a lot of great things. Was he dating Kamala at the time? And were there possible nepotism involved? Okay. But to say that in the face of Jared Kushner, who had really no experience, is now leading freaking talks with Israel, Donald Trump Jr., these individuals all throughout the Trump cabinet have no real experience in politics, business, other than they're playing with daddy's money. To sit here and say that maybe she got a promotion after being a lawyer, after being well qualified, almost overqualified for the positions that she was assigned to. We're talking about board members and all those other things, right? Just regular government jobs, right? We're not talking about leading Fortune 500 companies and leading peace peace negotiations across the country or across the nation world. We're just talking about a job that everybody works. Now you want to come to me and talk to me about that when we've seen nepotism throughout the whole Trump campaign. So that's one thing. In terms of everything else, she comes from a middle class family. She has middle class roots where, you know, we are humble. We understand the value of hard work. Where does Trump come from? He got a small little loan from his daddy of $1 million and he made that work. Come on now. If you want to talk about what the question really is about, who most reflects the American country, the American spirit. Kamala reflects that. Trump does not reflect that at all. Trump reflects the bigoted system that imperialistic capitalism has bred. You can be rich, you can do whatever you want, you can spend your money, you can have your family basically run this country, and you can be lawless and not subjugated to the laws. That's what Trump represents. But when you talk about Kamala, we talk about working class individuals who's made it up through the high ranks. There's good points, there's low points, but whatever it is, I recognize that. And you talked about, Barnabas, about how your daughter, you may have to question that. Imagine having your daughter say, I met Donald Trump. Would you want that woman to marry Donald Trump?
No, I don't want him to get married a fourth time. That would be
what if you
enough.
You would not want your daughter or your family member to even be within a 50 yards of this indecent man who talks about everything, then it's obviously, when we talk about morality, the candidate is Kamala.
I wouldn't want my son anywhere around Kamala either, but I guess you guys want to both have a little rebuttal. Go ahead.
I didn't ask that question, so
yeah, I answered it for you. Go ahead, either man.
So the funny part about it is that we try to say Donald Trump with the hush money on this hand, but the quid pro quo is okay. The have sex to the top is okay. And I really think that she have paved the way. If we look at what's going on in Atlanta with Fannie right now, you know, you got to be able to get some cheats up to get your promotion. we see those things. We see that when we start talking about the American dream, he's saying that women sleeping their way to the top is the American dream. Maybe that's the dream for his side of the family, but that's not the dream for the women on my side of the family. And then we start asking the questions, who do we relate more to? The question that you ask yourself is, you relate to Cam and her mansion? You relate to her being able to live the lifestyle that she chooses that she want to live? We got to just stop painting this picture that she's living the middle class lifestyle. It's not even close. It's not even close. So just to rebut what he said, it's two different things we saw with these same questions. I held Trump accountable. I told him I wasn't proud of some of the things that he did. And the one thing I want you to hold from this question is eBlack blamed somebody else for her mistakes. He went right to Willie. He said Willie is the reason that he manipulated this strong black Indian woman so that she didn't know what her rights and will was. Come on. Donald Trump was wrong. He shouldn't have been married all those times. Accountability. There's no accountability on the other side. That's the only point that I'm making.
Do you want to rebuttal eBlack since I gave him a chance?
No,
respond to any of that?
I'm
No?
going to forego that.
Okay.
We're gonna cut it.
All right. All right. Let's get into it. The Man Williams. When Trump became president, one of my biggest fears was that we were going to go to war because he has a lot of bluster. He likes to show off, be quote unquote macho. And I really thought that maybe his blowhard type of attitude might get us into some crazy war. But nothing could have been further from the truth as far as those 4 years go. Now, it looks like we're in or around or something's happening in Ukraine. And when I say something's happening, hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Cities are getting destroyed for what? And maybe this will offend some people. I think it's a war of NATO expansionism. I don't want to get onto that too much, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Time will tell. Time will tell. It looks like Ukraine is losing, depending on what you listen to and read, right? Also, let's not forget Israel. What's going on there? It seems like Bibi Netanyahu, is he the boss of the Western world? It seems like it. He pulls the strings to the puppet that is the United States for both people, honestly. He has, in my opinion, he has Trump under his thumb, just like he has Biden under his thumb. I just see all this escalating war, and now all of a sudden we're beating the drum because what? We want to attack China? It's just insane. It seems like it's near the end of the world. Maybe the missiles are in flight right now. This may be the last stream ever, right? Imagine being Russian right now, and Joe Biden is actually debating whether or not he should give Ukraine missiles to launch missiles into Moscow. Now, could you imagine if Russia gave missiles to Mexico and said, hey, launch these into DC. It's cool. Don't worry about it. So I know I said a lot of things there, but what I really want to ask is, what's going on with all these wars? What do you think a Trump presidency looks like in regards to these three geographic locations? I'm talking about Palestine, Ukraine, and China. Go ahead.
That's a great question. So one thing that I respect about when it talks about war and how Trump went into these other places, he went to meet with these people. I think he's the first president to go to North Korea, sit down and actually have a conversation. He said, hey, I'm going to go to Russia. He said, instead of us actually being childish, I know we think he's childish. He said, let's be an adults and sit down at the table and have a conversation. And you know what we saw from 2016 to 2020? The most feared people in the world, the dictators that we think are the most craziest in the world, did not do anything. And immediately, when he was removed from office, it's almost like they lost their mind. They decided that they was going to do anything. And what we don't talk about is, we know Iran, they was broke. They didn't have any money. But all of a sudden, we decided to go buy oil and make them so wealthy where they can be this. So I think we don't understand how powerful the tariffs was on oil in some of these places that had some chaotic views. We don't see how powerful it is for a man looking another man in their eyes and saying, hey, check this out. I see you, and let's have a conversation on how we can actually have peace. I think that he's good for us. What's going on in America right now, we need Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States, because he's proven that he was able to have these conversations to be able to keep peace on earth.
So there you go, eBlack. You can respond to that, or you can tell me what you think a Kamala presidency would look like in regards to these three current geographic locations on Earth. I'm talking about Palestine, Ukraine, and the future of China and America.
Well, let's be honest. I'm going to answer both at the same time. Let's be honest. Trump really didn't even have a chance to F things up. He got 2 years and then COVID hit and the world economy crashed. So within those next 2 years, we don't know what could have possibly happened. Meeting with Russia, meeting with North Korea is not a flex. It shows weakness. It shows that we are willing to send our most powerful piece over there, and that the thing about North Korea is that North Korea is literally bullying communism across their region. He's validated North Korea's position by doing that. Also, Russia's position. Why meet with Russia when they are literally bullying? The whole point of Ukraine is that they've crossed into Ukraine, a sovereign nation. So by doing so, Trump has emboldened individuals across the globe that says, you know what? America really don't want the smoke. And they have the presidency in their back pocket, and they're not willing to fight back. But no, what a Kamala Harris presidency will establish is that you already know, ain't no messing with this system.
I don't know, actually. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, well, I'm answering. You're not messing with the system. You're not messing with the party and the politics that we've brought from even the last 8 years. Oh, Democratic presidents are always great at war, too. Let's just be honest. We're lethal at war. We're dangerous at war. We get the job done. We don't fly on airplanes and say it's officially over. No, we send it and we get it done because we know what the dangers of war are. So when it comes to Kamala, I believe that her and the Democrats will definitely devise a better strategy, a great strategy. In fact, the strategy that is currently winning, because think about it. We are not just defending Ukraine. Ukraine is now on an offensive. So the strategy against foreign threats has been strengthened in the Biden, and I can foresee it in the next 8 years, Russia really running back to Moscow.
It's the truth is not in him. Listen, the truth is not in him. First, he gonna lie and say that COVID was 2 years into the Donald Trump election. So we talking about that 16, 17, 18, 19. COVID didn't start to beginning of 2020.
COVID started in 19. It was the end of 19.
When did so you said the
we didn't shut down and we didn't shut down until the March of 2020. But
so it's proven that your 2 years was flawed. Then he gonna try to paint this picture. He gonna paint this picture like, you know what? Sleepy Joe Biden got this under control. He got Israel under control. He got Russia under control. And matter of fact, Russia is scared. Russia is so scared of Cam that he go on TV and say, I hope they reelect her. I hope they actually put her in power so I can do what I want to do for the next 4 years. One thing that I saw is he said Donald Trump said that he's going to end this war, and I seen Putin respond. He said, I believe he can. I believe that we have to sit down and talk. The crazy thing that you could just fight without having conversations is actually shows that they really don't have a plan. So we got to stop by saying, hey, you know what? It's proven that Obama did great at war for the 8 years because he was at war for the 8 years he was in. And right after him, we had 4 years of peace. I'm just saying, it just don't make sense what this guy's trying to say that the Democrats know what they're doing when it comes down to war. Let's be honest, guys.
Do you have anything you like?
Yeah, really quickly. I forgot to mention about the Israel current situation in the Middle East. Well, I guess it is Middle East, but one of the first things that Trump did was to move the capital of the Israel. He formally declared a different capital. Do you not see policies like that enraging other individuals, putting America in between 1,000-year war? Those type of things, once again, are reckless and they do not belong in American policies, because now we don't even know where, or should I say, they do not know where, and I'm talking about the people of the Middle East, where we stand. Where we stand is we want peace. What Trump
No,
is, no. What Trump wants is to show aggression and to antagonize. And what we're seeing right now is the result, in my opinion, of those antagonizations.
Okay, so let me translate that for everyone in the back. According to the panel, Trump is the man for peace from E. Williams. eBlack says Kamala, the sister, don't play, I think he said, which means she's the candidate for war. But caveat, Trump is responsible for the current war in Israel because of the Jerusalem thing. I think that's what you said. Also, he thinks Ukraine is winning. Okay. I mean, it's a horrible situation to see all my white brothers getting blown to bits just because Biden wants to expand the war. I'm really going to go off on a tangent here. Russia is not my enemy, and Ukraine is not my ally as far as I'm concerned, and that doesn't make me any less American than the next person. I guess I'm kind of showing my bias here, but I just want to put it out.
gotta say this though, for Ukraine to be winning, I don't see a whole bunch of Russians coming to my city seeking asylum. I'm in Seattle, Washington. It's not a whole bunch of Russians coming. You know who's coming? Who done left Ukraine? Ukrainians. So for them actually winning, have you heard of bombings in Moscow? I haven't. And I know for a fact it's happening in Ukraine right now. So this idea that they winning, I just hope when you fight in November, this not the winning you talk about in that ring with DJ Ham. I'm just saying, because that winning ain't quite winning to me.
All right. So let's move on to something. Who can I ask for? I'm going to ask eBlack. So eBlack, it seems as if your party sides with the LGBTQ plus community. That's kind of their thing. That's kind of what they're known for, much like the Republicans are more pro Second Amendment, I would say. Donald Trump was the first presidential candidate to openly discuss in a positive way that gay marriage is okay. Of course, famously, Obama, when he came into office, was against gay marriage. I just wanted to put some groundwork there, do a little history lesson. But what's really taking over today, and it's just so fascinating, right? I know it doesn't affect a lot of people, but it is such an interesting topic. Let's talk about trans rights, right? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about children coming home telling their parents, hey, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. Let's talk about trans women. And of course, a trans woman means they were born a man, dominating in female sports. It's very strange. I never thought I'd see a day where dudes would put on a wig and a skirt, call themselves women, and compete against men. It seems a bit crazy. I don't know what the best course of treatment for people with this type of life is. But what I really want to say is, why does it seem like Kamala is pushing this trans issue? And it's kind of blending it's blending between support and pushing it on children. Is Kamala pushing this agenda on children in school?
I don't think personally. I'm sorry, Ms. Harris or Vice President Harris right now is pushing that. I think she's in support of equal rights, equal protections. I think, once again, when you come from a liberal city, you see all types of individuals who have different lifestyles. And I believe it's just par for the course in terms of what party represents what. One party wants to say that they will represent all of America while only representing one facet of America. You can see it all throughout the Republican right now. Go to your Republican website and look at their leadership. It looks like a picnic in the middle of Nebraska with maybe one or two brown people. You look at the leadership and from the Democratic Party, it's a very diverse thing. So you're going to have diverse issues. But if you're going to ask me whether Kamala supports, I do not, and I'll be honest with you, I do not know her stance in terms of what you're talking about in terms of pushing gay or trans rights. But I do know that she supports, as a former attorney, equal rights under and equal protections under law. But if you're going to talk about Donald Trump, I don't think he's base, nor his policies, nor does he really care enough to enforce the equal protections of everybody. Because let's be honest, when it came to the equal protection of 5 black men in New York, the Central Park 5, he wanted them hung in the front and lynched in Times Square. So without a question, Kamala is the best candidate, and the way that us as Americans, we want to move forward, because who's going to protect those who are less or disenfranchised, Trump or Kamala? And we all know Trump is not willing to do that.
Well, he said a lot there. First, he say, "Who are we going to protect?" It's funny, who did they protect in New Jersey when the first trans man had a chance to go? Trans woman had the chance to go into that prison, impregnate those women. Was those women inmate protected when they had a chance to get old Mr. Trans Man penis impregnated? No. So this idea that who we gonna protect, somebody's gonna get hurt. I know for a fact that if I have this conversation with eBlack, and I say, eBlack, you have these 5 kids who said that they did something to your daughter. They admitted to doing something to your daughters. You would think that they should get the death penalty. We're not talking about somebody who said they was innocent. We're literally talking about somebody say, I did the crime. And I get that they was in a hostile situation and maybe they didn't mean to do it. So let's not just try to paint him in this picture that he just wanted these innocent boys to be prosecuted when they had already admitted to doing the crime. And I have heard eBlack out your own mouth says that you believe people who take advantage of women that way should be given the death penalty. Am I correct? You can just give me a nod. You don't have to say anything. So yeah, so that's the point, is that it's easy for when it's somebody I don't like to kind of hold them to the fire, to be able to say that they should not did something looking hindsight 24. But I think most Americans would have said the same thing, especially if it was their loved one and their family member. So I think the trans thing is a bigger problem for women than what we think.
And can I quickly rebuttal? The point of bringing up the Central Park 5 was the simple fact that when a person or individual sees certain things, what is their first instincts to do? Usually act rash and usually call for the death. Sometimes we need cool heads, and we need individuals who can create policies and create actions very patiently. Yeah, you're right. If those situations would happen to me, then of course I would be enraged. But I'm not a policymaker. Trump is a policymaker now. He's no longer a private citizen now. He's a person making laws, and we do not need to have any individuals that where does it end with that case? Or drugs? Do you want the death penalty for drugs? Where does it end? Once again, I bring that Central Park 5 individuals up because no individual in this country, no matter how much enraged, does not want to see individuals lynched in the middle of Times Square as a spectacle.
That seems a bit grotesque. I don't think America's ready for that. That seems more Middle Eastern style, perhaps, or a blast from the past that we don't need to go back to. But E. the Man Williams, I have a question for you. The Democrats are known to attract younger voters. Kamala is talking about student loan forgiveness. She's also talking about this plan that Biden's been mulling around since 2021, I think. $25,000 down payment on a house. If I was young and I had student loan debt, and of course I'd like $25,000. I don't know who's going to get this alleged $25,000, but let's just pretend it's going to happen if she becomes president. These things are very appealing to younger people. This is something that I would like. If I could get this, well, I don't have student loan debt, but if I could get this, I might vote for Kamala. So I ask to you, what do you think about these two policies? And does Trump have anything to offer to the younger voter?
Yeah, so I think what she's doing is she's just dangling the carrot. Let me dangle the carrot and see if I can get him to bite. Because when you first start talking about student loans, I remember.
Let me interrupt. If a president can promise me a $25,000 check, I'm voting for him just right off the bat. And you can say whatever you want about me, but go ahead.
Yeah, so the one thing is we have real evidence of how these things pay out. Because I know we heard Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe said, you know what? We getting rid of these student loan debt. And then he came out stuttering and hipping and hollering. And a lot of people didn't even qualify. That's what it really came down to. A lot of people did not qualify. So I think you can promise them a lot. I think you can promise, because if you really understand, I understand mortgages and I understand how those things happen. It's already programmed, especially in the FHA program, that actually help first-time buyers, right? So this is not such a far-fetched that we can help the first-time buyer actually acquire a home, get a discount, and there's different programs for that, right? I'm not knocking that, but I just think that she has said it out her own mouth. She said that she feels that these young people are stupid. This is her words. She said she think they stupid and they willing to fall for anything. So what she want to do?
Wait. Are you quoting Kamala right now? Or no, you're saying?
I'm quoting her. She said, we know about Generation Z. They're not the brightest. They're stupid. Okay. eBlack heard it. I know he heard her say it. Listen, everybody done heard her say it.
I don't doubt it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
No, so she think that they're stupid. These are the words that came out of her mouth. If you want me to find the video, give me a second.
No. I think I vaguely remember now. I'm sorry to interrupt your flow, but
yeah, but so yeah, she think that they're stupid. So she says, "Let me try to be able to get the uninformed voter." But if you see what's going on these campuses right now, these people are waking up. Because the good thing, you might can fool the 18-year-olds. But the people under 25, they understand how they can't afford anything right now. They can't pay for anything. They know truth. It's this thing in Washington we call, do y'all remember when it was the Donald Trump interest rates for houses? When we was getting 1.95, 2.25 interest rates? Anybody who bought a house back in 2016 to 2019 know about that 2%? Now people are paying 7%, 8%. So this idea, quote unquote, I'm gonna give you $25,000 and you're gonna pay 7%. I promise you that $25,000 is not even close to the amount of money you're about to pay back in interest.
But again, let me ask the question again. What does Trump have to offer specifically to the younger voter? Does he have anything?
Yeah, I think what he's offering. So it depends on what younger voter you're talking about, right? Because I think
people who have less than 30, between 20 and 30. That's what I'm talking about.
So the 20 and 30-year-old, the one thing that I think that we see a lot happening in 20 and 30-year-olds, they're working overtime. And them being able to keep that money in their pocket. Because if you understand how overtime pay work, they're taxed at the highest. When your overtime is getting taxed more than your regular 40 hours. So I believe them actually keeping that overtime in their pocket. He's offering them that. And also, we done been here and seen these waiters waiting after us and making pennies on the. I think at Waffle House right now, they make what, $2 an hour in Georgia? I know that sounds crazy, but that is true. These young people who are busting tables, who are working overtime at Amazon and these warehouses, he said, I'm going to let you keep that hard-working money that you work for. So I think it's two different people. The welfare group who want the handout and the person who's saying that I'm willing to be able to go out and fight for the American dream, he's going to keep that money in their pockets.
You want to respond to any of that, eBlack?
Yeah. I mean, look, Trump's plans are very much idealistic, but in functionality, they do not work. Not taxing overtime is just another way for corporations to really, because what's going to happen is they're going to then say, well, then no business taxes on that. So then, guess what? The American workers have to then work more hours to do the same job. How about we raise the wages instead of worried about overtime? We don't need overtime if we're getting paid the amount that we should be getting paid. So that's the issue that with that. And in terms of a lot of the tax problems, they've been peddled for many of years, and nobody and in America does not want them. They are not working. Kamala has a great plan. The increasing of paying the increasing housing prices. Like, let's just be honest. Most individuals want to buy a new home. New homes are skyrocketing. $250,000 to build a new home, damn near. To have 20% of that, you would have to have 50,000 down. I don't see a problem with helping the American public or helping the American citizen who has saved money to have outreach, much like either man already acknowledged. We have Fannie Mae, we have Freddie Mae. These are public programs which do assist guarantees and cash for down payments. So I have no problems with, given the current state of the housing prices, somebody saying, you know what, let's increase this because the American public needs it. This is why we need student loan relief, because the American public needs it. This is why we need, because the interest rates, mind you, the interest rates really have nothing to do with the presidency. It has to do with the central bank. So we for the, once again, to fix the solutions, I think she's come up with the most comprehensive plan, because once again, I remember when I bought my first house, I foregone the 3%. I went with 20% to not pay for insurance. It is not easy for a couple to do that, and a little bit of help definitely can energize this economy, because let's be honest, the economy needs new housing in across the board to be really good, because that goes to lumber, steel, that goes to mobilization in urban cities, suburbs, everything. So I think she's made a great plan with that.
Can I ask one question about that? Just at 25,000. She also said that she wanted to make houses more affordable.
Yes.
So do you believe that she should be able to tell you how much you can sell your house for?
I think I don't think she's saying make it affordable. I think we have a like I said, lumber issue, which is a large reason why the American houses has gone up. I think also corporations have also artificially inflated a large amount of properties in certain markets. I think opening up, once again, I think one thing I will give Trump a good thing about was his investment plan. However, I think we can do more for the average citizen in terms of investment, creating CD accounts where non-taxable income. I think there's a lot that can be done for the average citizen in terms of that. I don't think she has any plans of subsidizing the market.
So, but I'm trying to understand this, right? So how do you, because most people that buy houses don't buy new houses, because most first-time buyers can't even afford new houses, right?
Yeah.
They usually buy a house that someone else owns, right? Something that have already been built. And this is factual. So my question that I'm asking is, I am a homeowner and you are a homeowner. We get ready to bring our homes to market. Do you want the government to tell us that we have a limit that we can profit off our house that we have made?
Flat out no, but I don't think any of her policies reflect that. I would like to say I would like to have more individuals with hard cash, 25,000, instead of making it harder for banks to actually make deals. Now you have more people in the market with cash. 25,000 is a lot of money. That is a lot of money that can help invigorate real estate sales.
But it's
It
not.
would make it easier.
It would not. The whole point that I'm telling you is, if I know that you got an extra 25,000, because you got to remember, usually when a house go on the market, especially under Donald Trump, you have what we call a bid war. Now everybody got an extra 25,000. Now your 25,000 is just like everybody else 25,000. What I am saying is, it's just going to make you pay more for the house. That house that you could have got for 250, now you're going to pay 275 for.
I think you're looking at it wrong. I think the price of the house doesn't go up because of extra 25,000. I think the increase in lenders who are qualified to make the purchase goes up.
No,
Which could increase the price because of bid wars. But the fact of the matter is that more you would have more eligible voter people eligible to purchase the home because they have cash on hand. I don't think that affects the price.
So without the $25, you qualify for a $225,000 house. Now that she gave,
it's usually at 3% though. Usually you're talking jumbo loans now.
Yeah, but the point that I'm making is, giving me 25,000. Only thing it did is it made me be able to spend more on the house that I qualify for. Now I have four. I'm just saying, this is my industry. If I have 3 new home buyers and all of them got the $25,000 credit, that just means I can sell my house for more. That's all that means. Who wanted the most, dude? Because I get to choose who I sell to.
I don't think your $200,000 house goes up to 225,000 just because a person has $25,000. I think your $200,000 house is worth $200,000, and then instead of 5 people being able to buy it, now you have 10 people because now 5 extra people have been eligible to have the threshold.
Listen, I know we having debate. I need you to take my word for it. I know we having a debate. If 10 people now qualify for this house, it creates something called a bidding war.
Yes.
That means this house is not selling for $250, $225. Somebody out of these 10 are going to pay $275,000 for this same house if I only had 5 people who can qualify for it. I promise you, the price of houses will go up for the simple fact that more people qualify for it.
But let's be honest. Traditionally, more liquidation, more cash in the market brings costs down.
Well, only time will tell.
Okay.
And we will certainly see what the future holds as long as World War III doesn't come and wipe us all off the planet. But let me ask my final question here.
Okay.
Let me ask my final question. I have noticed something that they say about Trump. They paint him as a racist. The left has tried to paint him as he doesn't like people of color.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like Latinos. Certainly doesn't like Haitians eating cats and dogs. He's anti-immigrant. He's this, he's that. But every time I turn around, I see some new group of people who are not white talking about how much they love Trump and proudly displaying Trump flags, Trump hats, whereas before it was kind of a no-no. It seems like he's really gone mainstream, so to speak. He's made it more acceptable. It seems like a lot of persons of color have left the left. And both of you are black men in America here. So just as a closing statement, I just wanted to preface that, but of course you can go off any way you want. Who is the right candidate for Black America and why? What can they offer? Go ahead, Edie Man.
No, I think I did. Edie Man start. Did you start the last question?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whoever.
I'll go for it. I'll go first because I think you started last. Okay. For Black America, it's definitely going to be Kamala. I really do not see any of Trump's policies really affecting Black America. We talk about the unemployment rate, but that's your job to get the unemployment rate down. He literally looks at us as an individual that has a certain classification of jobs. Black jobs is his famous statement. I'm going to create more black jobs. It's like, no, we want to have employment. Do I believe, once again, that the Republican Party underneath Donald Trump can devise plans for the middle class? No. Do I think that they're caring about the protections of workers? No. Do I really think they're going to try to pass a tax cut on overtime and all that stuff? No, because let's be honest, they're more worried about a lot of other things that, including the border, and they're just not going to do it. So if you want to talk about Black America, I think when we talk about Black America, it is America. We want manufacturing. We want scalable jobs that with good unions that protect us. We want to have a fair, a good environment to work in, safety, a lot of things that normal Americans want too. And when I say normal, I mean other Americans. So when we talk about whether who's the candidate that's going to increase the betterment of the future of Black America, I do not see Trump doing that. And I once again, I think the Democrats and Kamala is going to reflect the policies that reflect the average American voter, in terms of not just when you go to work, actually after you get off work, paying for bills, Medicare. Let's be honest, there's a lot of things other than just employment that really affects the average American life. I don't think or foresee any plan that Trump has that can really reflect any of the true values that Americans have had or want to move forward with.
So it's interesting that you said as a black man, right? Because I respect the Black as a black man. I think he had created a lot of success in his life based off what I know about him. The one thing that was interesting is I don't know if people know this person. I think Ice Cube. Ice Cube, before the last election, he reached out to Donald Trump, and he also reached out to Biden. And he said, "I just want to have a conversation about the Black community." Donald Trump sat down with him and had a conversation. He said he gave him a lot of good ideas, and he was going to implement something for the Black community. Biden just said something simple. He said that I will meet with you after I become president. Biden became president and never met with him. But one thing that we know happened out of that meeting, Donald Trump produced something called on the Platinum Plan. And the Platinum Plan, I don't want to go into detail. I strongly encourage people to kind of look into it. This is something that he said his goal is to do for the Black community. He wanted to create a 500,000 new Black business owners in America. He want to also be able to create where Black communities can also have more access to capital gains. Another thing he want to do is he want to give Black churches the ability to complete more for federal resources in their community, to be able to have these learning centers and different things to be able to push those things through. Now, we can argue all day if he's willing to do it. One person says that he's going to take the Black community serious and put forth a plan. Now, we still got to hold them accountable to execute it. But then what we saw with Cam, she says she's not going to do nothing for the Black community. Whatever she do is going to be for everybody else. So that's two different things. There's two different types of mindsets. There's two different types of people really trying to do those things. Now, I can be honest. Do I know if Donald Trump's going to do all of these things that he quote unquote say he's going to do? I don't know. But at least he was willing to stand up and say that he was going to do it. And the funny part about it, I'm old enough that anybody seen The View when Donald Trump was on The View with Oprah? I mean, Whoopi and all those people, and they was kissing and hugging him. He wasn't too racist then. He wasn't that racist when all these fights was happening at the at the Trump Towers. He wasn't racist when we seen Mike Tyson's hugging up on him. All these different celebrities really, embracing him. The funny part, matter of fact, I have heard of Trump and Trump Towers my whole life. I never heard him be called a racist until he decided to be president. Maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know for a fact that, quote unquote, a lot of black people was around him until he decided, not that he wanted to be president, he wanted to run for president on the Republican side. I think if Donald Trump would have tried to do this on the Democrat side, they would have loved Donald Trump. And I think it's his choice that made them say that he hate black people.
Go ahead, eBlack.
Yeah, it's been I think prosecuted. Trump has been found or should I say Trump Enterprise or Trump Inc., whatever you want to call it, whatever, however he hides his money and shells his money under different entities. When he did actually have buildings for black applicants, he would actually have them sign if they're black, or have the agent put a B on there or put a special star to not have blacks in this building. He's been covertly racist in his actions for a long time now. And this has been a lexicon of Black America. Now, just because Mike Tyson, who's a boxer, goes to a casino that's owned by the guy who's actually probably going to get hosting the fights, of course, Atlantic City. We all know how he did with Atlantic City, ran that to the ground. But it's been a known fact that Trump has always been around the fringe areas of racism and bigotry. Do we call him Duke? David Duke? No, he's not David Duke, but we all understand these individuals. They don't look at you at the same. And I don't think he looks at Black America the same way I would want Kamala Harris, who's from Black America, who's lived in Black areas, who's, yeah. Stop it. Stop. So I think if you really want to talk about, like I said, Black America, I really believe that I cannot have this elderly white man be the face and savior of Black America. I would rather give a Black woman an opportunity to save Black America. And I think she will do what she's necessarily done.
I think that was great. I think we should end it there personally. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I'm
good.
Right,
I think let's do closing statements. I want to see how he gonna close this.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Closing statements. Closing statements. Go ahead.
Wait, you started out first. Who started out first?
I can't remember.
I started first, I thought. No, he started first.
I started first.
Okay, so I'll close first. Okay. All right. Black America, white America, all America. There's only one candidate that represents you. For the most part, we've gone through a long period of Trump's mess ups. We've cleaned it up. We have a long way to go. We're already seeing the effects of Trump's policy through the Supreme Court. A lot of things are changing, but even still, we're still stronger as a country. And I still believe that as African Americans, as Americans, I should say, we have the perfect candidate in terms of Kamala Harris. I believe that if going to Trump is just really going backwards, it's not going to work. Our economy is not necessarily based on one individual. It's based on the American spirit and how we, the ingenuity and a lot of hard work and dedication. Trump is just another man that could, hey, if it doesn't work for him, he'll be fine. He has billions and billions of dollars and he'll go back to his golf course. But us as American people will continue on no matter who's the president. But the ultimate goal, the ultimate thing is that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. Please vote, early vote, show up to the polls, tell a friend, be galvanized, because this is your right. A lot of people have died for this. Whoever you vote for, but who am I voting for is definitely going to be the woman out of California, Kamala Harris. Let's go.
So first of all, I want to say appreciate to eBlack. I think this is really the first time that I've seen some people have a conversation that was two people that I have no beef with eBlack. I think he's a great person that we can have conversation about politics and we don't hate each other at the end. So shout out for the last 2 hours been excellent in my opinion. So let's talk about it. So yeah, so the one thing I'm gonna say is that like just don't fall for the lies. Like Cam was talking about how the green their grass was growing up and the competition between grass. She's not from Oakland, the hood side. She's from the suburbs. Let's be clear. So at the end of this, I want y'all guys to understand that both of these candidates is going back to their mansion, and both of these candidates are going to be all right. But the one thing that I want you really to ask yourself, what if you put your biased ways away and you take out a piece of paper and you start writing down the benefits of what's best for this country, what's best for your family, what's best for your grandparents? If you write all those benefits down, whose name do you think to be at the top of that paper? Me, truthfully and honestly, I think Donald Trump's name would be up there. I think the investment of the Black community, the middle class community, and really all of America will be in the best hands with Donald Trump. Now, I know a lot of people might disagree with this. A lot of people might look at it like maybe I have a reason to be biased. But I noticed for the last 2 hours, we talked about Donald Trump. We really didn't talk about any policies that Cam have. We talked about eBlack told us tonight why he don't like Donald Trump. We still don't know the policies. We've been here for 2 hours and we still don't understand the policies of Cam. So this guy is a diehard Cam supporter and he can't even tell you why you should vote for it without saying Donald Trump. It tells you one thing, that Donald Trump is the best candidate. And I think that if we want to move forward, if we want to make America great again, and when I say great again, I'm talking about going back to 2017 when eBlack was balling. Don't let him lie to you. He was balling out. He was buying all kind of stuff for everybody. When we want to go back to a life like that, Donald Trump is our guy. And eBlack in the back of his head, he really know it. He really know that he shouldn't be voting for this woman. He really know. I'm going to sum it up like this, that Donald Trump will put American first. I appreciate y'all guys having me tonight.
Thank you so much. It's been a great show. The panel is open if anyone wants to come up and tell us who's better, Trump or Kamala Harris. I had a great time here. This is my first moderation event. I just so overwhelmed and enjoyed. I appreciate you guys letting me do it. Anytime you want to call me, anytime you want me back, you know how to get a hold of me. So that's what's up. Let's see if anyone comes up. I guess not. Maybe not.
You did a good job.
Appreciate it.
I linked the link in my chat. Make sure you do so also. But yeah, you did a good job, man. You know, I've known he for a while, so I know that he can go up or down. If you want to get in some fuck shit, we can get into the fuck shit. If you want to get into some real intellectual conversation, and I actually appreciate the way that he's a business owner, family man. So this is not me debating some random that just wants to troll about Trump. We reflect two different sides of really Black America. You know, like we are business. The business I own is YouTube, but I work. But you know, like we represent both sides, and like I said, I'm okay with saying that. Hey, I'm work left to center than maybe somebody like Eda Man who's probably right to center. So, but I think we can also just be agree on like we want to see America do good, like.
No, I feel it's great. We all got along. One thing I wanted to mention, just a personal thought. This tax on tips thing, it keeps coming up, which is okay. That sounds fine. If it's a good idea not to tax tips, why not just not tax income? Why only the tipped employees? It just seems a bit odd there. And what I think it stems from is waiters, waitresses, tips, and salaried employee, or excuse me, waiters, waitresses, and other tipped employees, they would always rock out with cash in their pocket, right? And now that's kind of gone away a bit to more towards the credit card tipping, which they can't basically lie on their income tax. So it's like, hey, it's okay. You can keep lying like you did in the 80s. But I don't know if you know this about me or not. Of course, I was a cook for many years in New York City, and these waiters and waitresses were bringing in huge money. Sure, they made $2.16 an hour, but they're getting tipped out in New York City. I'm a dirty cook in the back. I'm not catching any of those tips, right? So if it's good for them not to tax tips, why not just stop taxing? I don't know, raise the bracket to where you have to just change the tax bracket or something. I don't know. It just seems a bit odd there. And then it leads way to some new form of legal finagling of like, oh, you're a tipped employee, and then like somehow the company will pay you with tips or something. Does that make sense? Like I can see something happening. I
think this has been going on for years. Like this is decades almost, but in fact, it's just what most people say. It's an artificial way for companies to skirt past by paying them with a real wage. If I can pay somebody $6 and promise them, hey, you're gonna get tips, and I'm always going to pay that instead of paying a livable wage. That's always been the case. Like it's the reason why, like Edaman says, waiters get paid $2 an hour in Georgia. It's the same thing out here in Texas. Is because companies do not want to pay a livable wage. Taxes.
No. Well, but let me just interject one more time here. A restaurant business is tough. Most of them don't even last. So it's just kind of built around that. Hey, we only have to pay waiters $2.16 an hour.
It's built around that.
Fold napkins. But
it's built around that because of American politics, not necessarily because of survivalship or economics.
I don't like it. I hate tipping culture. I don't even want to go out because I have to tip, because I feel complied to tip. And I can't stand it. Everyone wants a tip. First, it was the baristas. Then it's this. You got a tip for your jacket. You got a tip for a service worker coming to your house, fix something that you don't even know how to fix. And it's just, it's out of control. I would be more.
Hold that thought. I have somebody in the back. Could you? You're live. Can you talk?
You bet I can.
You bet I can. Okay. All right. I just because I don't. You got a weird background.
What's his name?
Do you know
it's El Perro?
El Perro?
He's
Is
cool.
he good?
He's legit. Let him know.
Okay. What about Fatty? Uncle Fatty?
This is White Fatty. This is White Fatty.
Yeah, this is White Fatty.
White Fatty. Yeah, he's cool.
Okay. All right. So
they both like weed. They might be having weed backgrounds, but they're cool.
Yeah, they got some crazy stuff going on.
I do want to respond to this because me being a business owner, it's just assumption that we make so much money. Like people don't understand like this idea. Let me tell you the restaurant. A good restaurant profited about 9%. That means if they brought in $1 million, they might $90,000 quote unquote that the owner take home after paying everybody. So this idea that restaurants don't want to pay a livable wages, I think sometimes what we do is we try to look at franchises and see what 100,000 restaurant is making, and we don't understand that each individual restaurant is not winning the way that we think they are.
But either man. Corporations, businesses got the largest tax cut ever. It went from 35 to what? Like 20? Like we are really like low 18s, 15s, I think.
Down to 13 in some cases, yeah.
This shows you that, and they're getting profits. Walmart got profits. All these companies profited, and even the companies that did profit, they still did not higher wages. So it shows you that. Look, we want the companies to do what is right, but they will not do what is right. They will buy back their own stocks. They will reinvest in making more money, but they will not pay more than they have to until worker shortages show up and it affects their bottom line.
So, but we got to understand why they got the cut, right? They got the cut because they've been paying people after COVID. COVID really destroyed our economy in ways that we don't know. And the
Tax
government
cuts came from COVID, though.
No, so let me help you understand like my whole premise of what I'm saying, right? So we understand that at the end of when COVID hit, and now companies brought a whole bunch of employees on. A lot of people got back to work in that time. So when we paint that picture that they only use them because I know they use 30% for stock buybacks. We don't talk about them spending the other 60% actually helping people come back to work. So I get that they didn't spend the whole 100% like we wanted to, but close to 60% they did spend it on their employees.
Right now, okay, and right now there's
still for my construction business to be accepting old COVID money that's still out there that's available for business owners.
But let's be honest, we are still and this is the one thing that's going on the radar. Companies are now being investigated for price gouging. They are not charging a fair market value. And in fact, like when we talk about the price of eggs and we talk about all these things, these companies are literally like 80% of farmers are ran by corporations. This is not the average farmer saying, I'm going to charge you more. This is what the companies are charging now. So it all trickles down. And that's why I don't agree with what you're saying. It's not like, oh, McDonald's, who's always made a profit, said, I'll give you guys an extra $2 raise because we like you. They're doing it because they have worker shortages. Most companies are doing whatever rate or wage raises that they have is because of worker shortages, not because they actually care about the worker.
Well, the whole point I'm trying to help you understand, if I hire somebody in my business today and that person make $15 an hour, what it truly cost me to hire that person is about $24 an hour. I got to pay half of their taxes. See, what we don't talk about is if I pay half of your taxes, I'm paying for your benefits. I'm paying for all these other things that you have no idea I'm paying for. So when you say I'm not paying you enough, I'm paying you $24 an hour just to maintain you. Now, if you don't get it all, that's not because of me, but the government says that the employer pay half and the employee pay the other half. That's how taxes work, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah. $25 an hour is a real good way to look at this, because at $25 an hour, you're making $1,000 a week at 40 hours, right? $1,000 a week. Looking at that, you're going to take home maybe $666, right? You're going to put a third down and you're going to lose a third, straight up. I'm going to match that. So, having a construction business, I see this, especially with trying to, run guys under the table and run guys on the books, two different things. I got to bid $100 an hour per guy. By the time I cover expenses and OSHA shit and making sure I got the safe job site, making sure everything's all good, paying a secretary. I mean, same time, I'm just a little guy, right? And I'm competing against these guys like, Greenstone and whatever that are, throwing in subdevelopments, big subdevelopments every year, and their corporate profits are just the same as all the rest of the corporate profits. I like to think of myself as an Idaho, and I write in for Ross Perot every 4 years because my vote really doesn't necessarily matter in Idaho.
You vote in for Ross Perot all the time?
I've voted for Ross Perot since 1996. Yeah,
bro, vote for Trump. Trump 2024. Get on the Trump train, baby. Get on the winning side. Kamala Harris.
I like my president to not want to be king. There's just something about a president that wants to become king that just doesn't rub me right. You know what I mean?
Well, if he wanted to be king, don't you think he would have instituted that in his first presidency?
Yeah,
See,
he
that's
tried,
the
bro.
fallacy. No,
He
that's
tried,
the fallacy. That's the fallacy of that claim, because again, he let it up for a re-election. If he really wanted to step in there and do that, it's been done many times, and he has a great example to do so. He didn't.
Yeah, no, yeah, he failed. He tried though. Either
Show
way,
where he
either way.
show. Well, what's your evidence
I
that
think
he?
there's-
What's your
I think there's
evidence that he
common ground.
tried? What's your evidence that he tried?
January 6th, but we're not going to go into that. 'Cause
Okay.
You guys don't want to, obviously. So I think we can find some common ground. I think there's one place that we can all find common ground, and that's in corporate greed, right? So let's think about the fact that Walt Cleaver, right? Leave it to Beaver's dad, right? Ward Cleaver, sorry, would be making about $88 to $113 an hour in today's economy, right? To have two boys at home and the neighbor kid that comes over all the time and the white picket fence and the stay-at-home wife, right? At the time, you know, corporations were bound. They were regulated to not be able to make these absorbent amounts of profit and have this trickle down economics, right? That never has worked. The tax cuts were specifically designed so that we give tax cuts to the corporations and they trickle that money down to the employees. That's never happened in American history, right? What happens is we get stock buybacks, we get guys building mega yachts, we get corporation guys getting their $100 million bonuses every year, right? And the wages stay the same, right? They don't go up. You know, the car workers unions haven't gotten a raise for 40 years, guys.
Well, but listen, but people don't. I get what you're saying, but when you tax, you have to look at the bigger picture. You can't look at one industry, right?
Oh,
So
sure.
for example,
Yeah.
So for example, if we look at Waffle House, for example, Waffle House I think it's worth what, $7 billion roughly. They worth $7 billion, and I think if you really break it down, they got about 1,900 stores. That's less than $1 million per store. So what we see is 19 million. I mean, we see 1,900 businesses that's under one umbrella, and we say, oh, they got more money to tax because it's 1,900 businesses in one. So I get that we could say the auto or the oil industry might have the money, but if you tax one, you got to tax all because you can't be biased. And I think a lot of people say, well, I want you to tax them and not tax them. And that's not how taxes work. You got to tax all or you can't tax none.
Yeah. No, I got you there for sure. And that's, you know, restaurants are the best example because, yeah, if you're making 10 to 13%, you're probably doing better than the neighbor next to you. You know, that's food industry is tough and you got to refocus your, you know, your brand and your menus and everything, you know, at least every 18 months.
All right. Hey guys,
You know,
we're gonna wrap this up. Could y'all what did y'all I want y'all final kind of statements on to the two guests that joined. What did you think about the debate? And did you learn anything or did you change your mind or were you entertained? Whatever your thoughts are.
great conversation, guys, for sure. Good information. No spurging out. No major ad hom. You know.
Hey, I didn't mention January 6th, and I'm very proud of that.
That's right, man. And, you know, it's just one piece of salt in the entire shaker. You know,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we're all on the same team, right? So
yeah, I'm glad you didn't mention January 6th because those people didn't attack it. They was let in. It was like a tool.
My God.
Like this idea that they just.
We'll save that for another day.
I get the media want to say that these people had pitchforks and they came in there like the Klan back in the 60s. No, they was let in. They said, "Sir, would you like to go this way?" It wasn't what people think it is. But
the guy that was letting them in the door, right? Yeah.
They was escorted.
Yeah.
These folks was escorted.
Yeah, that's what I saw on TV too, right?
What you saw on TV? Send me the video. What you saw? Because
Okay.
we didn't see what you thought. I promise. We saw literally. This is what they saw. You saw the rally. Then you saw pictures of people's feet on people's desks. You didn't see nobody kicking no door in. You didn't see nobody killing nobody. You didn't see none of that on TV. So for you to try to paint the picture that you saw that, what did you see? You said we wrapping it up. We appreciate y'all guys having us tonight.
Yeah, just on my way out, Kamala Harris here. I come from the streets. I belong in the streets. So if I lose the election, I'll still be comfortable. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Total success. Thank you so much. Hit me up anytime. I had a great time. Nice meeting you, Eda, man. I got my eye on you. I subbed up. And I'll see you on the YouTube streets. Thanks. Peace.
All right, y'all. We out of here.
Bye.